driving force in professional wrestling.
Welcome to this, the premiere episode of the driving force in professional wrestling. Okay, so this week what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover the dates January 26th right through to the end of the following week, the Friday, which I believe was the 2nd of February. Therefore, we start off with NXT TakeOver Phoenix and the 2019 Royal Rumble. We also cover Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and NXT UK when I bring to you the Golden Powah Rankings Top 5. Okay, now first up, coming in hot at 5 is Shooting Star Shane. Now Shane O'Mac makes the list this week because first and foremost, as Brother Chris said to me this past Royal Rumble event, who on earth would have thought we'd have got Shane O'Mac holding a WWE title, the Tag Team Championships in 2019. And I tell you what, least of all, with a slightly crazy-legged, but otherwise picture-perfect shooting star press. Damn. Well done, Shane O'Mac. Now, for pulling that off alone, you make the Golden Powah Rankings at number 5. Coming in strong at 4, following an incredible display in the tag team title match at NXT TakeOver, War Raiders. So yeah, Hanson and Rowe, they take up number 4 quite simply because that tag team match, it was high flying, it was technical, it was power, had a bit of everything in there, a lot of hard hitting action, of course, as you're likely to get when you put the War Raiders in the ring, especially up against a side like Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong. What a group of 4 with such incredibly mixed abilities, individually as well as when you put them in a competitive circumstance together. So that match was outstanding. We're going to give that one a golden 5-star, and the War Raiders go in at number 4. Okay, now landing at number 3, who else but 2019 Royal Rumble winner. Thank you very much. People letting me out at the turning. Very rare. Much appreciated. And that is Seth freaking Rollins. Monday Night Rollins. He continued on with a great triumph over Dean Ambrose. So Seth Rollins goes in at number 2 in the Power Rankings. Now, just for a moment, covering the Dean Ambrose business, that's been a real talking point this past week. WWE released a statement that Dean Ambrose, Jonathan Good, I think is his real name, they revealed that he would not be renewing his contract once it's up in April. Now, this is big news because, A, Dean Ambrose, he's a bit of a primetime player, brother, and also, it's incredibly rare that WWE would make such an announcement a good 2 months prior to one of their wrestlers leaving the company. And I mean, he's been positioned in a top spot for several years now, Dean Ambrose. I think it was 2017, during which he actually main evented on weekly television episodes of Raw and SmackDown more than anyone else in the company. And actually, I think he's probably been on his most interesting, in my opinion, and best run since returning from injury late in 2018. And even more so when he turned heel a bit later in the year. I mean, some of his best work, as far as I'm concerned, he certainly looks stronger, he looks better, he's buffed up his physique during the time he was out injured. It looks more believable, he is more athletic, and I think it's improved his in-ring work and style. So, yeah, it's pretty big news. Obviously, all comes hot off the heels and further increases the nature of this talking point by AEW's concoction in recent times, and the apparent fact that it provides professional wrestlers with another avenue to go down in their career path and earn a good wage. And perhaps most significantly, which might be the case if Dean does indeed turn up in AEW anytime soon, Double or Nothing Vegas May, might be that they are more open to giving wrestlers a creative license, more freedom in their own storytelling, character development, which so far as what we understand so far, that is what is being suggested is why Dean is leaving the WWE. It's got nothing to do with finances. The guy is well off, as most of the guys and girls are in WWE these days. He's been sensible, apparently. Doesn't, you know, chuck it all in the bin, living a ridiculously lavish lifestyle. So he's fine. Plus, he and his wife, Renee Young, they've both been well employed by the WWE. No doubt between the two of them, as a family, they must be on 7 figures quite easily annually, as well as whatever else comes in merch-wise. So, you know, interesting stuff. So it makes you wonder, is it a work? For one, because it's so peculiar that the WWE would announce this departure while they still got a good 2 months of potentially negotiating a new deal, convincing Dean to stay. So are they working up to a bigger storyline with all of this? He's certainly come face to face with Triple H on Raw this past week. It has a really good segment, and there was a nice little moment where Triple H went to leave the ring, kind of dismissing Dean Ambrose and his desire to have a match with Seth Rollins on Raw. And so Dean followed him out the ring, kind of ducked under the ropes with him. They were both kind of exiting the second ropes, and it was just really well shot, well produced, and the physical mannerisms of Dean Ambrose were really very impressive. You know, as I say, his work has only become more and more polished, and his character has only become more and more intriguing and enjoyable, more entertaining to watch. So you had all that going on, so they could be leading us towards something of a Dean Ambrose grey area character. He's not a typical face, not a typical heel, kind of going up against this authority, the McMahon family, in the current climate during which they're shaking things up. Or on the other hand, this could just be WWE making a statement to say, look, you know, if people want to leave, so be it. Not going to make a blind bit of difference to us. We're a big company. We've got all the best talent in the world, mostly. And it's not going to affect us too severely. So good luck to you. Hope you'll come back in the future, which is pretty much what they said in the statement they released. And there you go. Anyway, so there we are. Now we're working our way to Golden Powah ranking number 2. And this might surprise a few of you that this superstar hasn't landed at number 1. But at number 2, probably the Golden Streak's biggest pop of the night at the Royal Rumble, Becky Lynch winning the 30-woman 2019 Women's Royal Rumble. Also pulling double duty that night. She had an exceptional match against Asuka at the start of the show for the Women's SmackDown title. Asuka retained, actually tapping out Becky Lynch, which is interesting. I quite enjoyed that, and to me it didn't weaken Becky in the slightest, because you kind of put the two of them on a par. And I think for most of us, we look at Asuka, we look at Becky, and we say Asuka is technically a more well-rounded, more gifted athlete, whereas Becky has just got more attitude, a little bit more character, a bit edgier, a bit more charisma, perhaps. You know, they're two very different personalities. Both are great. Both have a lot of character going for them. Becky is strong, you know, it's her attitude, it's her drive, it's her will to win, it's her, warrior within that I think sees her rise to the top in the WWE and in professional wrestling during the second half of 2018 and riding that right through now 2019 into, we hope, WrestleMania, possibly the main event up against Ronda Rousey. That's the match we all want to see. So, yeah, to me, it just showed two great competitors. One happened to get the better of the other on that night. It kept Asuka very strong as SmackDown champion. Fantastic. Well done, WWE, for that booking. And as I say, in my opinion, didn't really weaken Becky in the slightest. If anything, her coming out later in the night at Royal Rumble, you know, a little bit worn and torn from a match with Asuka, and then winning the thing, having replaced Lana at number 30, it's all good work, it's all great storytelling, and yeah, massive pop. That was really exciting when she won. So she's in at number 2. And also her showing up on Raw this week, getting in the face of Ronda Rousey, cutting another fantastic promo. Well, that was just superb. Now, talking of promos, that takes me to Power Ranking number 1 this week. Mouth of Fire, Golden Joe, Samoa Joe. On the basis that, goddamn, his promo on SmackDown was probably the funniest thing I have ever seen. And I'll put a little clip of that in now for you to enjoy in case you're unaware of it. So yeah, enjoy.
And I suggest all 4 of you get out of my way. And trust me, Randy, I know I need to size up with you. And when I defang the Viper, trust me, ain't gonna come from nowhere. Jeff, I already put you out. I don't even know why you're out here right now. Keep on talking. Hey, do me a favor. Why don't you act like this is an AA meeting and you shut your mouth while I'm sharing with the crew? And Mustafa, you out here, a boy among men. And I'm gonna tell you what, you got lucky at the Rumble, so I know you're gonna come out here and run your mouth about how bad you are. But let me give you a little bit of a reality check. You see, Mustafa, you said that my eyes don't lie. Well, your eyes don't lie either, because last week, they were closed real tight when I put your simple ass to sleep. And AJ, hey man, be honest with me. How's our old girl Wendy doing?
Oh, and AJ Styles, finally this thing pops off.
I don't care how much you got.
Now, one more thing before finishing up there. We've had the Golden Powah Rankings. Now we're going to have the Ollywood Walk of Shame. This week, going into the Walk of Shame, we have none other than Nia Jax. By and large, she's had it coming for quite a while. She is Miss Botchamania going into the season. Road to Gold, WrestleMania. Had a great Rumble, great takeover, some really good SmackDown and Raws. Now we're just a few short months away from the big time. New Jersey, New York, fantastic. Now, when Nia Jax came out at the end of the 30-man Royal Rumble main event, Madness, she took the place of R-Truth. Now, I was kind of looking forward to the fun of R-Truth coming out. We know it had to be a bit of a curveball. Didn't see this one coming in the slightest. So, Nia Jax attacked R-Truth. All well and good. Again, good bit of storytelling. What it led to next was absolutely phenomenal. Probably the funniest moment of the evening. Possibly the only pop that rivaled the Becky Lynch Royal Rumble win. But she kind of botched the attack on R-Truth, apparently, so far as we've read since. She got genuine, real heat with Brother Ron Killings after that incident. You know, she bodged his ankle up, she put his face into the wall far too heavily. He wasn't pleased with it at all. So, you know, in she goes for that massive botch. But also, how brilliant was it to see her pop out in the ring, and there she was, getting super kicked in the face by Dolph Ziggler. Didn't expect him to be there, but he was well worth his entrance into the Royal Rumble for that alone. 619 by Rey Mysterio, and then best of all, RKO'd by the Viper, Randy Orton. Yeah, see you, Nia, out you go. And then we had a super slide from Rey Mysterio just to pop her off the ring apron to make sure she hit the floor and she exited the Royal Rumble. Can't be having Nia win the thing, no. Anyway, so there she goes. She goes into this week's Ollywood Walk of Shame. Hope you enjoyed the show. I'll try to do this weekly for anyone that might watch and listen, anyone at all. And in the meantime, may your palm be lined with gold.